Welcome to the 8 in the Box podcast. Today is Wednesday, January 12th, but the date isn't important anymore because it's all about the postseason in the NFL. We're going to talk football. We have been talking college football mostly on this show the rest of the way, but the rest of the way, we're talking NFL football today. My name is Dave Sharapan. I am the Sportsbook Consigliere at SportsBK Consig on the Twitter. With me today, as always, my quarterback, Brad Howe. You find him on the Twitter at BradHowe07. BHowe, are you ready for the postseason today?
Good morning. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, as we say, because you never know when you're listening to the program. Right. Yes, I'm ready for the postseason, but I have to say before we dive in, let's just moment of silence for the college football season. It's over. It's a sad day. We got a nice championship game. It was fun. We got to go 9 months now with no college football. I am a little bit bummed. I am a little bit bummed about that.
We do. And it's in a different vibe, both, in the sports book, looking at games. You click that college football tab wherever and there's nothing there. It's blank. And you're like, oh, whoa. And they're talking about odds for next season. Like that's important right now. No, we're not. Just put it on the shelf. We'll talk some college basketball. We'll get into that because now we got to ramp up for March Madness. So we're both crazy. We're both watching it. You're going to the games in West Virginia. I was going to games when they were here. Can't go to any UNLV games because they're not really very good and nobody really goes. So I ain't doing that, but we're watching the games. We'll get to all that. But right now we got to get to some football. Producing the show, as always, Dan Alexander. We call him Newbie Talks. Newbie, did you watch the college football championship game?
Hell yes, I watched that game, and it was terrific. I was glad we finally got a new champ. Awesome stuff all around, man. And, I never thought I would say it, but I think BHowe has me sad that college football is ending too, man. I became hooked because of you guys, so happy to be here.
That's exactly right. I think a lot of people that listen to the show, hopefully you cross over and come with us on the NFL ride that we're going to all take here, and that's what we're going to do this week. We're going to just basically go game by game, break down the games as we do, just like we did with the college football. We did the pros last week. The last week of the NFL regular season was one of the craziest weekends of NFL I've ever seen, BHowe. And I wanted to ask you, your reflection on the actual championship game. I'll tell you this. I saw the game. I thought it was a hell of a football game. We saw a great football game, which wasn't maybe what the football game of the Rose Bowl was. It was a different type of game. It was a defensive game. The injuries mounted up for Alabama, but Georgia was the better team in the fourth quarter. Stetson Bennett's story was amazing, and I was happy I got to watch it. What did you take away from the last college football game of the season?
I thought the thing that really jumped out to me, those were the two best teams in college football. And I spend every Saturday watching every play of West Virginia games, cover them. That you could see that those two teams were playing a different game than everybody else in college football. I know you saw that in the semifinals. There were dudes everywhere and they were playing. From a betting perspective, I think one thing that you said on our Game Within the Game podcast, you had mentioned about the line really not moving. 2.5, 3 to 2.5, 2.5 back to 3, just didn't move because you had respected money. You had money coming on both sides. I thought that showed there's a play or two either way, and your Alabama +3 would have worked or the Georgia cover worked. Now, what I did say, I'll have to say this. I don't know why I had to sweat out my under. You like the under in that game? I followed you. It's a dead under. I'm cashing money. I'm throwing money around the room while I'm watching. And then I'm like, oh my God, what just happened? That pick six. What number do I have? I'm quickly checking to make sure I have the number right. I thought I lost it on a pick six. How did that game get close to the total? It was a dead under, Dave.
I don't know. I thought the same thing. It's so funny because we're all the same. Like if you have the ticket, I said I wasn't sure totally about the side, and all the rhombuses and everybody was like, oh, the sharp side was Georgia, and it really, I don't know if it gets there if they play that game 10 times. I don't know if it gets there more than 5, but the way the injuries happen. But the total was a dead under. It was under. We were good. It was 18-13. It was 18-13 in the fourth quarter. Like that's 31. We're fine. No problem. Wait a second. What? Then he got to picking. Kirby Smart's running up and down the sideline. Did you see him? He was like, go down when he caught that ball.
Right. Slide.
Just go down. And I was thinking the same thing. And I was like, all right, wait, add it up. 51, 52 now. We're good. Okay, we're good. Like I did the same thing, exact same thing. So yeah, it was a hell of a football game. But and
Now,
then
real quick, can I give you one more thing on that before we go?
Yeah.
This is a plug for you as we get ready to start this show. One of the things I think you're so good at, and I've tried to take from you, and it happened in the championship game. So we went into that. I was on the Alabama side for a lot of the reasons we talked about. Coin flip game, but you give me Saban and you give me points. Betting psychology wise, I have to take that side. I could handle Georgia beating us. Okay, fine. We'll take that. All right. But from what I've learned from you, so I had them on plus money on the money line. As I'm watching that game go, you can tell it's going to be back and forth. When Georgia got to plus 110 on the money line, I popped a little Georgia as well. As you always say, now I'm plus. I'm good either way. So that's one of the things you're so good about explaining came to fruition there in the national championship if you paid attention to what the live odds were doing.
Yeah, that was it's funny because the Rose Bowl is a live betting dream because of the scoring back and forth. That game was a live betting dream because of the lack of scoring in that game. You know, you could take position on the total. If you didn't middle the total, you weren't trying. You know, you had an early position and that game went down. I thought I saw as low as 38, 30. 34
I think,
and a half?
It might have got down even lower than that. But see, I was afraid. I had the under 52, but I got afraid to take the over 29 or 31 or whatever it was because I thought, these teams aren't scoring. How are they going to score?
Well, all those trips to the red zone by Alabama and resulted in field goals.
Yeah,
it felt like they're not going to score. Like it really felt like, geez, they're going to. I mean, if Bennett doesn't turn up all over, and that kid recovered it like it was like a loaf of bread. He just like, let me just grab this thing on the way out of bounds here. You're going to win the championship. Grab it with two hands. What are you doing? Keep your foot in bounds. And he did it, and they scored a touchdown. I was like, okay, now we're 31. Even if Georgia scores here, they're going to win by 3. I thought the game was going to fall 3. I thought 18-13. Here comes the 19-18. Go for 2. It finishes 21-18, and it's a push on the I was like in the book. I'm thinking, I got to give all the money back. Nobody wants to give the money back. And all the 2.5s win, the 3s push, all the CLV people go crazy. And it's nuts. So I was thinking a lot of things. It was a lot of fun. And I'm glad we got to see it. Alabama, first half cashes again. I mean, unbelievable. Just a money train. The Alabama first half. Absolutely incredible. But now we got to find the cash for the NFL Wildcard weekend after what happened on Sunday. The Steelers are in the playoffs. The Raiders are in the playoffs. The Chargers are not. There wasn't a tie, although there should have been. Staley called. I don't know what he was thinking calling that timeout, but whatever. I don't want to hash on that. We talked about all that stuff. Take us away, quarterback. I'm wearing his cowboy hat.
It's nice.
And BHowe said, "You're my quarter. That's my quarterback." He said it in tears. I'm going to throw it right to you. Take it away, sir. What's the first game? What are we doing today? We're going in order, right?
We're going in order chronologically when they play. So we're going to whip through each one. We're going to keep it moving. Then we got a couple specials at the end. I will say this real quick. Last thing on college football. Don't fret. It's 9 months, but it'll go fast. And we'll be back to betting Alabama first half and Western Kentucky highest total of the week. So just hang in there. It'll be back soon. All right.
Absolutely.
Before we get started, I'm going to keep you moving here. Okay. We're going to whip through these. But let's do a couple of trends. You know how I love trends. Before we get started, okay? Veasan did an incredible job of compiling. I got lost for about 4.5 hours this morning already. Been up since 3:30 looking at trends. Not quite, but close.
I did that yesterday, by the way, with this. What was the show with James Gandolfini? The Sopranos. I started watching clips. I saw one clip, and it ended up a rabbit hole 2 hours. What are you doing? I'm still watching clips of that show. Sorry.
Well, that's me. I saw one trend, then I got 30 trends. So here we go. I'm just going to give you a couple. You'll like these. First of all, the outright winner is a crazy 48-7-1 against the spread in the last 56 wildcard games. 48-7-1 against the spread. So find the winner. You generally get the spread. Okay. These next two are for you. Road teams. You like road, you like dogs, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Okay. Road teams are 14-4 straight up, 15-3 against the spread in the last 4 seasons. The road has been good. Okay. Now remember, last year was a little different because crowds weren't always the same, but dogs are on a 12-4-1 against the spread run in the last 17 NFC games, wild card round.
Ooh.
Dogs. So let's keep that in mind here as we
Bodes
go. You
well
ready?
for a couple of those dogs in here.
All right. I got
Okay.
totals for you too, but we'll do those individually as they pop up.
Yes.
So remind me on totals. Let's begin. We're talking to you in Vegas. Let's go with the Vegas Raiders. I don't know how they're still alive. I don't know how we're still talking about Las Vegas. Alas, here we are. They
Yes.
get the Bengals. So the first storyline here, Dave, one is that the Raiders are still alive and in the playoffs. The other part, 2 first-time quarterbacks in the playoffs, 2 first-time coaches in the playoffs. Does that tell us anything? Do we need to look for conservative game plans? Do we like the under because of that? What do you make of that? Or is it just a non-factor since they're both new on both sides?
I think they almost cancel each other out in that situation. Okay. Cause like, if it was against one first timer against Belichick, if it was a first timer against Andy Reid or Mike Tomlin, it might have more of a factor for me anyway. Does it factor for you when you think about it?
Yeah, it kind of does. And maybe I'm off because it's the Raiders. And I've said this on our other shows. I don't know what I'm doing with the Raiders. I can't get the Raiders right. So I'm going to tread lightly here, but it feels maybe a little conservative offensively in a big moment with some inexperience. Make sure we don't make a mistake, play to avoid the mistake instead of letting it loose. I might come back and look at a little under here.
Okay.
49.5. I mean, we're trending up towards 50. I know you've got some offenses here, but I might keep an eye on the under here as we move.
So the first thing I look at when I'm looking at this game is the first game they played. Since he came here and physically took it to the Raiders. Now, this was a different Raider team. I'm so impressed. Started really with me with this run. The win in Cleveland, I was like, okay, maybe take notice. Then they come home or they win in Denver at home, but they beat Denver though. And then when they went to Indy 2 weeks ago and won, I was like, okay, this team's, I think, making a playoff. And the game on Sunday was incredible against the Chargers. And they're supposed to win that game handily the way it went, and they don't. I think this one may get a little loose because they're first time coaches. Okay. I would think this thing goes over before it goes under. That's my initial thought. I don't know how you don't take the points here. This is going to be a back and forth game.
Oh,
the only way it's not is if Cincinnati runs the ball, gets a turnover, Burrow strikes. If Cincy gets out to one of these quick leads and takes away I don't want to say they're being conservative. They're just being smart. Derek Carr looks like he grew up like immediately in this run. He's not making those throws that he was making at the beginning of the season. And I don't know if it was because Gruden was putting him in a position. Look, man, we're throwing the ball. You can tell Bisaccia and the team believes like they're okay running and grinding. Waller's back. I think the Raiders are going to win a game. I think they can win the football game. I'm telling you, you just gave me the trends. If you pick the winner, you're going to win the point spread when you take the dog. I think for sure I'm taking the points. It's already moved. The line went from 6.5 open, which I think the books knew what they were doing too. Like we would just sit in a room. When you put the opening number up, where do you need to get the money right now? Where do you need to get the money on the Raiders? You need to get the money on the dog in this situation. Opening a little high, 6.5, just under a touchdown. This feels like a field goal or a 24-20 could be the score, but it could be 34-31. That type. I think it favors more the over, a close game. Raiders don't win it. They cover for sure, but I think they're live to win it. Are you favorite here? That easy?
Well, you know me. You're going to have to fight me because there's some chalk. If there's a favorite in any kind of game, can I take a look? I went underdog with Alabama and it screwed me, so I better just go back to taking favorites.
Yeah, I don't know.
We're going to talk teaser later. I might come back to Cincinnati on a teaser situation.
Okay.
Laying 5 in a first-time situation. I don't know about that. I am going to keep an eye on the total. I hear what you're saying. Renfro and Waller, I think, could feast here. Those Cincinnati linebackers are sub 60 grades via PFF. You know, I like to dive into those PFF numbers to find those matchups. Waller and Renfro here. So keep an eye on reception and yardage props for those two and when those lines come out. So the Raiders could feast. Again, I acknowledge that I miss the Raiders every way you can miss the Raiders. So I'll probably default to you on a side. I'll take a look at the dog. Let me give you one total number to back up my initial under feel. Okay. And again, trends are trends. I get it. They're made to be broken. But of the last 30 wild card games with a total of 44 or higher, which this one hits, we're at 49.5 right now. The under is 21, 8, and 1. And 8 of the last 9 games with a total of 48 or higher went under.
Yeah.
And 4 of this year's 6 games fit that bill. So we'll keep looking. We got a few days left to take a look at this. I hear what you're saying. So I'll keep my eye on Vegas.
I'm just really
and keep an eye
nervous
on the total.
Taking an under in a Cincinnati game. That's the one. I mean, because Burrow can light it up. I mean,
no question.
They're Jamar Chase. I mean, like these guys, their quick score capability is huge. I mean, you want to throwback college basketball term. What Kellogg say? Spurtability.
Spurtability.
The spurtability of the Cincinnati Bengals is very quick, and it may be a contrast in styles, but I think the Raiders are going to move the ball. And the PFF matchups, which we've used on Game Within the Game all season, have been pretty good. They have helped us find a lot of prop betting success. So I like that fact. I think Game 5 not flies over, but I think it goes over, and I like the Raiders.
All right, next. This will be a fun one. New England and Buffalo. Line sitting, you tell me where it's at, 4.5.
Painted 4. Painted 4. There's no more 4.5s. They're all gone. Oh, actually.
No, I got one.
Fresh.
I got one.
Yeah, I got one too.
Yep.
Okay.
I got one.
Yeah,
44.5 for a
Westgate
total.
are the only 4.5s. Yep.
That's what I'm looking at as draft.
And 44.5, 4 and 44.5. This is one of those ones where people come to the window. There's too many 4s. 4, 44.5, 44. Sir, what did you say? You want the side? You want the total? You want over? You want under? I want to parlay -4, 44.5. You say over or under? Too many 4s. I used to hate this one all the time. Go ahead, sir. Sorry.
Well, this is how do you do this? So this is the rubber match, one apiece, each team one on the road. But do we have to throw out New England at Baltimore round 1 because of those crazy weather conditions?
You said Baltimore. Baltimore ain't in the playoffs. You said
What'd I
Baltimore.
say?
You said Baltimore. Them Ravens are done. We ain't talking about no Ravens.
My bad.
Buffalo.
All right. New England, Buffalo. Throw out the first one. It was weird weather. Belichick went back to his Navy roots, ran the triple option, wouldn't throw the football. It was wild. What a wild game that was.
Ran the triple option.
So
he did, though. They ran the ball every play but 3 plays.
It was crazy. Okay, walk me through what I'm looking at here. I've got the Bills, all those preseason expectations, such a great year last year. They just never felt like they were where they needed to be this year versus those expectations. Kind of bullies. They beat up on teams they should beat, and they beat them badly, but they probably didn't get to their top-end expectation. A lot of that's because of the one-score losses.
Yeah.
So this is one of those, I don't know if it's a trend or just something to watch. Is that who this Bills team is? They're going to lose a close game as they have all year? Or are we due some positive regression here and they get in a close game in the playoff and that trend flips and they find a way to win? You get Belichick in the playoffs, which is always scary to go against, but he's got a rookie quarterback and they're going into Buffalo. Side on this one. Which do you like if you had to lay it or take it?
It's such a good, this is the Saturday night show of the week. I mean, it is, and it's round 3. I think you're right. I think we throw out the triple option game. It was too windy. I mean, but this is what comes into the handicap, right? You set the line a little bit high. It was last time it was 3. It was 3.5. And Buffalo's laying. They're favored. Okay. You got a rookie quarterback making his first postseason start. That's number 1 for me. Those are very much go against. It's a big spot. It's a lot to ask, but it's Belichick. Okay, so we Mac's been okay. He's done this a couple times, so we've already played this game. We've already played at this stadium, so all that's out the window. The weather becomes a factor and the NFL handicap late in the season anyway, the weather in Buffalo, top 3 in the whole league. What could happen? Total's 44.5. Is that right? That's crazy high to me. That seems just crazy high. But I know a lot of people, we talked about it last week too, when we looked at the futures. All right. This is the road for Buffalo to the Super Bowl. They got to beat New England this week at home. They're going to go on the road to Tennessee, and then they're going to go on the road to most likely Kansas City or Cincinnati. I mean, that's 2 road games. That's the 3 best teams that I think they got to play left. Yet it's Buffalo. I think it's Buffalo because I can't get over the rookie quarterback thing. This is what Buffalo does at home. It's a close game, but this might be the favorite. You know, I'm almost going to take every dog. I'm looking at this thing. I'm going to take every dog. But I think the sharp side, all the rhombuses, all the parallelograms, again, nobody knows shit. That's fine. But I know what they're going to bet. Books put this number 4.5 to go get the dog money because they know we can go. It's going to drop to 3.5. It ain't going to 3. The line is definitely not going to 3. They ain't giving nobody a shot at laying Buffalo -3. I don't care who brings what bag and how much. You ain't going, just like the Georgia line. Didn't move. It was going to 2.5. It was it. This line's going to 3.5 is the bottom. If you like Buffalo, I think that's the side. So you feel better? That's your favorite. There you go.
Good. Thank you for the favorite. And if I like Buffalo, I should wait, you're thinking? The line will come to me?
No, I mean, again, it's the lowest. The initial money was on that, but a couple of the books that we're both kind of looking at is already at 4.5. So right. I would take Buffalo now. I mean, because it could go up. I mean, this thing could end up 4.5. It is already 4.5 in a couple of places. It could end up 5.5. If you know what they're waiting for, they're taking the dog because of the weather, but it's a 5-day forecast. Now we get a little bit closer. You tell us there ain't going to be no wind. And if it's the first thing we're looking at is the wind, don't tell me about the snow. The temperature comes into a little bit of a play, but these are cold weather teams. It's not like we got a dome team from down south or something, or, going up there to play. It's New England and Buffalo. These 2 teams are made for this weather. They practice in this weather. It ain't that big of a deal. Cold. But if we don't get no wind, you'll see the total move up. It'll get up over 45, no question. Because Buffalo's going to put up, aren't they going to put up 28? I mean, they're going to score 4 times. So New England has to score 4 plus a field goal to get there. You'll see the Buffalo money come. You'll see the over money come if the weather isn't what it's supposed to be from that early forecast.
One number I'll give you from the second game, the one at New England, and this was the difference in the game. So keep an eye on this trend as the game moves along. Buffalo won the 3rd down conversion game within the game. Shout out to our other podcast there, by the way.
Excellent work.
Bills were 6 for 12, 50% on 3rd down. Pats just 1 for 10. Buffalo wins the game by nearly 2 touchdowns. So 3rd down conversions. Yeah, 50%. New England's obviously got to stop that.
The thing that worries me about Buffalo is they cannot run the football.
They can't. It's weird. They're not built for where they play, are they? It's really bizarre.
It's so bizarre because you just that slides under the radar. If they have to run the ball to put the game away, they can't do it. Which, when you need that, would they call that the 6-minute drive or the 4-minute drive?
Yeah.
At the end of the game, when they're up 3 or they're up 4 and they just need to 7, they're up 1 score and they got to get 3 first downs and put the clock away. You can't do it via the run. And that is, for me, the thing that's going to hold them back to getting to the Super Bowl, I think. Unless they're blowing teams out, this doesn't feel like a blowout. This feels like it's going to be a sweat. It's going to be a close game. But I'm leaning Buffalo as of today. Newbie, you say you got something here? What do you got for this game?
I just think one thing that has really stuck out to me with McDermott is think about how pissed off he was after all the talking heads were saying he got embarrassed in that windy, in that snow game. he had so many different quotes that was saying, why are we giving Bill Belichick the coaching trophy, blah, 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 this, that, and the other thing. So I think some people are thinking the revenge factor maybe got taken away because Buffalo got the monkey off their back. They bounced back. They beat Belichick. I think this is a chance for McDermott. He's going to have the Buffalo Bills circling the wagons, and we know nobody circles the wagons like the Buffalo Bills.
Well
I think
done.
this could be one of the sneaky blowouts of the week for the
Yeah.
Bills.
Oh, did we call him blowout? Oh,
It has the potential, and I think they're going to bet it that way. I think they're already starting to. And
All right.
again, the only holdup is going to be the weather.
all right. Very good. Newbie, point of reference here. Are we staying in the AFC or are we going to Philly, Tampa?
Oh, I think we're ready to go to Philly, Tampa. And
Okay,
I
let's do it.
don't know if I like it with all this chalk that we're eating with the favorites.
Well, we're gonna have you chime in on this, being right there in Philly and being an Eagle fan. Okay, Dave. Right, Tampa Bay 8.5-point favorite, total sitting 48.5, 49, depending on where
49
you
pretty
look here.
much, yeah. Yep.
So matchup wise, the overarching narrative is Philly's got to run the football. You can't run against the Tampa defense.
Mhm.
But the Tampa run defense hasn't been the same in the back half of the season here, the last few
Mhm.
games of the season. Can Philly run it against Tampa? Can they keep it within a touchdown here? Or is this just Brady's going, injuries don't matter. Whoever they throw out there with Brady, Gronk's going to catch a billion balls. You lay the heavy chalk here. Philly can't keep up. They can't beat a team above 500. Take the Bucs. What are you doing here?
Do you have any stuff factor or anything like that here? for this
No,
one?
I won't give you stuff rate. No.
I was hoping for some stuff factor for this one because that is the handicap. Can Philly run the football? Well, because that's what Philly does. That's what the Eagles do, is they run the football. What Tampa does, and Tampa does at home especially, is score points. They just put it up. I mean, they have blown out teams this season at home. Haven't really done that on the road. We're not have to worry about Tampa on the road until the NFC Championship. As far as the line, you can't make this thing 10 because you know you're going to get an automatic bet on the Eagles. You can't make this thing 7 or 7.5 because you don't have to. They're going to lay it with the Bucs. Okay. When we talk about this, on cash considerations, the other podcast that I do with Newbie and Carl, where the line tells you the story. To me, this screams taking the Eagles plus the points. Okay. You have to take the Eagles plus the points. You have to put this number at 8.5 to protect against the teasers. Tampa Bay's in every single teaser. Every single teaser. It's Tom Brady. He's the MVP, by the way, if you haven't heard. They're going to vote him the MVP now, so they don't have to vote Rodgers and everything else. I'm not saying he should win it or he is the MVP, but that's who they're going to vote. I think the Eagles are long shot live. Let's put it that way. I think they can win the game, but Tampa's got to give it to them. They have to win the turnover battle. They have to. And they have to get a special game. Not a Stenson Bennett game, but they need a special game from Jalen Hurts. I think he's capable of giving it to him. But I think the points are to play. The total is tough. I like under. I think if you like the dog and you like the running team, you have to favor the under. So now I just gave you dog and I gave you under, and you didn't cringe. You didn't even make that noise that you made on Game Within the Game when I gave you the Texans again, and the Texans covered again. So you comfortable with the dog here?
Comfortable is probably not the right word.
Oh, you're squirming. You're doing that thing again.
It's not the right word. So if you want to put them, you said it, teaser, and get me under a field goal, okay, I feel better.
Yeah.
Laying a big number. I mean, it's just, that's the handicap is, can Tampa Bay return to its early season run defense form? But look at, let me give you some numbers here. Go to PFF again in these last few games in terms of a run defense grade. And that's on a scale of 0 to 100, just like we would in school.
Okay.
Against the Falcons, a 35 run defense grade.
That's bad.
Against the Bills, 46.
Not good.
Against the Jets, 42.
What? The Jets?
I gave you Falcons and Jets, and that's Tampa's run grade against those two. Can Jalen Hurts and company find a way to run the football? It feels like maybe they can. And what about the offensive weapons for Tampa Bay? This isn't the same Tampa Bay team, although they've won 7 of 8. So, I mean, I feel like they're not quite clicking. They've won 7 of 8.
May have been addition by subtraction, the whole AB thing. What a distraction that must have been. And then, like, I don't know if you saw the NFL Films thing I posted just last night. I was watching Gronk got his $1 million catching the passes. Philly's got to. I think if we hit Brady a little bit too, we can keep this thing close. I'm telling you, this is the first game on Sunday, and I think it's going to play to the under. And I'm on the Eagles. I don't know how high this is going to go though, because it's sitting in that middle zone of anywhere. Once you get over 7, you get to the 7.5, to 10. It's almost all the same number. But now with the 2-point conversion being so prevalent, you got to get it over 8, which it is. But it ain't going to 10. The bet's coming at 10. The big bet is coming. So we know, as in a book, you know that. So now you're going to float maybe between 8.5, 9.5, which to me is one move. You never see a football game in the NFL 9, very rarely. You go right from 8.5 to 9.5. You might touch 10. Somebody might in a room or upstairs in the office say, go get some Eagle money. I don't want to need that game for $500,000 or $1 million. But I like the birds.
All right. Well, this is a classic personal showdown with you and me. If I'm not on the Eagles and they cover, I'm going to be beside myself. I didn't listen to you. But if Tampa Bay, I'm going to say, see, I told you I should have just eaten the chalk. Now you got me conflicted.
All right.
Now you got me conflicted. All right, we'll look. I will look at some Gronk props, though, coming up, too.
Now, I was going to say, BHowe, is for the prop players, Gronk overs are going to be beautiful. Eagles are bad against tight ends. They've allowed a touchdown to tight ends in 10 of their 18 games. The first meeting, there was no Gronk. They still gave up 75 yards to O.J. Howard and Cameron Brate. I think Gronk is live, receptions, yards. I would be playing all of that, especially with the detraction of the skill players that you kind of pointed out there. So I think that's an astute point that shouldn't just go unmentioned. I think tight end props are live to go over, especially Gronk anytime touchdown score.
Very good.
Nice.
I like it. Not only do I like it when Newbie chimes in, but he's going to give you a number, Dave. 10 out of 18 games they've given up a touchdown to tight ends. I like that even better. Way to go, Newbie. Well done.
You're definitely going to play Gronk to score a touchdown anytime touchdown, aren't you?
No question.
I may have already done it.
No question.
Stay focused.
All right.
Stay focused.
Here we go. We should do a prop show exclusively. We love the props.
Oh yeah.
We have a nice national championship game with the props. We should.
Yes,
we should
sir.
Game within the game, we do that. Let's go. Give me numbers.
You got to send me a text. You got to send me a text when you shoot those tweets out, because I didn't see it until way too late, and I had to comment later. I may retweet it because it's so good. But go ahead. I digress. Go ahead.
All right, let's stay. This one's intriguing as well. You've got the hat on. Let's talk Niners, Cowboys.
Yeah.
Cowboys by 3 total. This one's over 50.5 here. Okay, what do? I like this Niner team. They feel like they're built for the playoffs. Deebo Samuel, I like him, right? I like these Niners here. Mm-hmm. What are the Cowboys doing offensively? Do they just outscore San Francisco? Is this a bad matchup? Can the Niners go on the road and win this?
Oh, it's a perfect number. This is the hardest game of the week for me because I know how easy the number was to make. Oh, San Francisco just came back and beat the Rams. They're in. Who do they get? Dallas. Oh, 3. What's the total? 51. 3 and 51 is a perfect formula. It's just those are the most common numbers when you get into these, like the higher scoring games, or it's like, 6.5, 41. Like so many games are the same lines over the years that it doesn't matter who's playing, particularly for me, because when you do it so long, you just kind of get in that routine. So as soon as I saw San Francisco, I was out doing the Twitter spaces with Matt Peralt about we're doing a Bostonia versus the book thing. I'm in the book at the Cirque on Sunday. I'm watching the game. We're timed to do the Circus Spaces, and I got no reception. So I got to go walk. I'm walking outside on Fremont Street and on Main Street talking on the Twitter Spaces. We got over 100 people in the room. He's telling me San Francisco come back and win. Can't believe it. They're going to play Dallas. Oh, yeah. Okay. Who Dallas did not want to see is San Francisco. How in the hell is Dallas going to run the ball? They ain't going to run the ball. They have to play this game to a shootout. They have to outscore San Francisco. The thing with San Francisco, you want to talk about a coach who's locked in step with his quarterback when he plays is Jimmy G and Kyle Shanahan. Like he knows what he has and what he can and cannot do when Jimmy G's in there. And Jimmy G don't always win you the game, although he did on Sunday, but he don't lose the game most of the time. He takes care of the football. Who doesn't take care of the football? Dak. Sometimes he just gets a little bit loose, tries to do a little too much, but Dallas got all the weapons in the world, right? It's going to be a great football game. I mean, it's the middle game on Sunday. I don't really know right now. Like, somebody's got to show me. I think, BHowe, you said it too easy. You like the dog like that much?
Well, so a couple things. Let's look here. Couple things. San Francisco may get Trent Williams back, which would be massive along the offensive line. Highest graded player in the NFL on PFF. That's a huge addition, right? Deebo Samuel running the ball from the receiver slot. Loves it if Trent Williams is back. That's number one. Dallas defense is ranked 22nd in the NFL in yards per play allowed. So if they're going to get chewed up, especially on the ground, keep the ball. Dallas's recent wins, guys, football team twice, Giants, Philly with a team playing its backups. I mean, is Dallas the team? Now, my concerns, you mentioned Jimmy G. He's critical. How's the thumb? Was fine against LA, right? Got the win. You mentioned that. How's the health? And you also hit on the weapons for Dallas. Can San Francisco's defensive backs cover these Dallas receivers? Now, San Francisco's defensive backs aren't awful, but they're certainly far from elite. So what happens there from a point standpoint? My other concern, just from a line standpoint, is San Francisco going to be too public of a dog? I mean, if I'm liking a dog, if I'm drawn to the dog, we probably have a problem, right? I probably need to look the other way.
Well, that's the situation with this game. All right. But when the line comes to you just like that, and you start at 3, you're only moving the juice. There's 13 football games left in the season. That's how many. I mean, that's it. There's 6 this week, and then we're down to almost nothing. You can't move off the 3. Where are you going to go? You're going to go to 2.5, and they're going to drive Brinks trunks in to play the Cowboys. If you go to 3.5, you might as well all get hats and uniforms and ask Jer if he needs to help you book the games, because you're going to get nothing but Niners money. So now it's sitting 3. I don't know. I wouldn't worry about being a public dog at this point in the season. And I wouldn't worry about it, especially after you gave me those numbers from VSiN at the beginning of the show. When we, the dogs win this week. It's okay to be on the dog, and it's okay to take them on a money line in addition to taking the points. I think the game goes under. And again, I sound like a broken record sometimes, but I like the total under. I think San Francisco dictates the type of play more. Now, do they win a game? I don't know. I really don't know. I'll have a better feel for this by the time we get to Sunday. But you want to talk about an in-game betting situation? This is the in-game betting situation for me. We will see. San Francisco was down 17-0 against the Rams on Sunday. You had them plus 17.5. That's what that line was. They started coming back. You could have had a big money line. You could have had, you'd have probably taken a few years off your life watching that and betting that. That was a very stressful game. But I think this game could play out the same way. There might be a big lead that's squandered. I don't think this is a blowout by any means. I think this is going to be, does McCarthy being a coach, does the coaching matter in this one for you? We asked the question against, Las Vegas and Cincinnati with first-time coaches. We got a couple veteran coaches here. But I can't get over the Mike McCarthy factor. Like, we've seen it at the end of games, at the end of halves. The clock management is just terrible. I don't think he's won a challenge since his second season in Green Bay. Every time they challenge it, you're just like, oh, then they're out of timeouts when they know the challenge and they can't do it. Does that factor for you? Because that factors for me.
Well, it does, and I think it brings up a larger point, but I think it applies to every team. I mean, who do you trust in the playoffs here? It is hard to trust teams, and NFC
Trust
certainly
anybody.
has that in the game I'm going to do next. Well, coming up in 2 games from now, talk about a trust factor. So that'll come up again. We're going to talk trust again in coaches, and I'm with you. I don't know that I can trust McCarthy here. I will say this though, real quick, and then I'll move you on. For me personally, I probably don't touch this because I took a little 19-1 on San Francisco to win the NFC. Just sprinkle a little bit on there. So I'll just kind of
Ooh.
let that ride and say, a long shot. I get it. Coming out of the wild card, that's a tough road, but I thought that was a pretty good number. So I'll just kind of leave that and stay off this game and watch it unless it's in game.
We had a
That's
good
how I'll take
discussion
this.
on the last 8 in the Box, which I highly recommend you go back and watch on the YouTube or go back and listen. We talked about the futures and kind of the path of the different teams and where they're going. And now we know the bracket. So we have even more information, but I think you can go from that and get our thoughts where we were there and kind of know now, particularly what the matchups are going to be if things all hold. But then it's all going to change because 3 of the dogs will probably win outright this week, and then all the seedings will go like that. So,
Yeah.
don't get too deep. But I like that you actually went in and pushed the button instead of
pushed it.
talking about it because that price is gone. Like if you take San Francisco, if they win this week, that number's boom. That's cut in half. Like you ain't getting them. I don't even be surprised if it's double digits. I think you might be 8 to 9 to 1 versus 19 to 1. That's a good bet, BHowe. As long as you get past out.
That's like you gotta win. Then
win a game. Just
okay.
win one game, stay alive another week, and then we can work off of that.
Here we go. Let's keep moving here. I don't know how much you're gonna say here. You got Pittsburgh in the background there on your backdrop.
Nighttime in Pittsburgh.
From Pittsburgh, you're a Steeler dude.
Yeah.
Almost 2 touchdowns here. Chiefs 12.5
Yep.
over your Steelers.
Yep.
I don't even know how the Steelers are in the playoffs. They are. They get
Yeah.
the Chiefs. That's a lot of points. You just said we don't see 9-10. We don't. Now we're getting 12.5. There's no way you're going to give me Steelers here, right? No way you're doing that. Oh, geez, you're going to. You're going to. No, I can't. No, not taking the Steelers. No. You're not. You're going to give Steelers.
Listen,
Ben can't throw it down the field.
I know. And we saw this, the original, the sequel's never better. I can't think of too many times. Godfather 2 was really good though. Like you want to talk about sequels of all time. Godfather 2 lived up to the billing of Godfather 1. This game is probably not going to live up to what the first game was, which was a Kansas City just party. First half, Steelers didn't get there. Chiefs got there. You had to inflate the number. It still got there. 23-0 after the first half of the Steelers in Chiefs round 1. So when you come up with the number for this one, first of all, thank you, Jacksonville and the Clown Show for beating the Colts on Sunday to allow the Steelers to have an opportunity to beat Baltimore in overtime. And man, that one felt good. It ain't time for Ben to go. I don't know. I was pacing. I thought the game was going to be a tie between the Raiders and the Chargers, and the Steelers were going to have the shortest playoff run of Ben Roethlisberger's career. It was about 8 hours because they were in and then they were out. But then they pulled them back in, and we're going to Kansas City to probably get annihilated. I don't know how many points the Steelers are going to score. The only way, though, BHowe, look at this total. It's 46.5. This point spread is 12.5. This is the math problem. You take the dog. I like under. I think the Steelers defense is playing as good as any defense in the league. In the league, not in the AFC, in the league. That's why I got to take the Steelers. I think the game's a dead under. This is the total I feel the strongest about of all of the games. It's Kansas City, Dave. Take an under. See what they're doing? They score points. Not against the Steeler defense. So because we think, I'm sorry, I said we. I don't want to speak for you. I'm going to give you the mic here in a second. I think the Steelers hold the Chiefs to 24 points. We can get 13. Got to take the dog. Pains you.
Oh, you're just killing me. This is going to be just a brutal. But I gave you all those trends. I probably got to listen to you. I gotta listen to you. You know, it's a quiet. I don't know that we've ever said this about the Chiefs since Mahomes got there. It's a quiet 9 out of 10 for the Chiefs, I think. I mean, they're rolling right now, but only 6-4 against the number in those 10. All right, you can.
The
maybe talk
numbers
me
have
into
been
this.
inflated on the Chiefs, and this number is inflated on the Chiefs. We got all the information from the first game. The line closed. This had COVID questions. It opened 10, went down to 7.5. Can't ever, you got to really thank the book sometimes when they give you a gift. Kansas City minus 7.5 a few weeks ago was one of the best gifts of the entire season. Now they ain't doing that again. And you go, okay, everybody bet Kansas City. We thought they weren't going to play. Tyreek Hill wasn't going to play. Kelsey didn't play. Kelsey playing this week.
Oh, this hurts me, though. I'm going to be sitting there watching that. Ben's going to be just slinging those 3-yard behind the line of scrimmage passes. You're going to make me watch Tyreek Hill just running loose, all kinds of open green grass on my TV. He's going to be running amok. I'll be pacing.
Who in the world says they're
right,
going
fine.
to Kansas City in January and taking the points? I think that's the play, only because, again, I think they run the ball with Najee. They hang around and just keep it close. And then some sort of magic attempt ends short. Kansas City wins, doesn't cover. This will probably be the Kansas City Tampa teaser. We might as well start printing all over the country in different denominations. I used to joke at the counter, look down and say, hey, start printing them in $10, $20, $50, $100 increments. So you just start handing them out so you don't waste time. Oh, you want a Kansas City Tampa teaser? How much? 20. Oh, I got it right here. Boom. Here you go. Just start. Keep the line moving. Telling you, how unders the play.
All right, fine. I usually try and listen to you on here. All right, keep it moving.
Yes.
Keep it moving here.
Yes.
Fun game. I can't wait to watch this.
Oh.
You talk about the who do you trust? To whom do we place our trust? Arizona, the Rams, line to 3.5 for the Rams. Cliff Kingsbury in the playoffs. I'm going to put actual money on Cliff in a big game. Are you kidding me? But now you're going to tell me now I got to put big money on Matt Stafford in the play. He's going to throw a pick. Can you give me a prop? Can you give me a Stafford over a half an interception prop? Is that even out? Can I make it? I want to lay on that. What do we do here? Arizona, Rams.
I think you should do that, actually. And as far as the Pittsburgh, Kansas City, I think you could take a prop bet on both quarterbacks to throw a pick in that game. Mahomes and Roethlisberger each throw a pick. This game, same thing, right? I don't know who to trust. Oh, Arizona. So, again, this is round 3 of this matchup. We got 2 games this week with divisional opponents, where this is round 3. Arizona went to the Rams. Books kind of overshot the mark with a 6 and got just poured. It was like that waterfall. It was all Arizona money. Did the same thing. Went all the way down to 4, 3.5. And Arizona kicked their asses. All right. So now when the Rams went to Arizona, what did they do? They won the game. So you're sitting there like this as a bettor. You're like, I have no idea what to do. And it's a Monday night standalone game.
I want to play it. I want to play it. Where do I go? I want to play it.
You have to play it. I think, okay, so the total open 50. There's only 150 left. It's already eked down a little bit. It's 49.5. There's a 49. I like this game over.
Oh.
I do. And I very rarely say that, right? It could be dead wrong, but I'm thinking over. Now, when I get pushed to the over, looking at the favorite, and I want to go in. I've been touting the Rams, talking about it for months. Watch his team in the playoffs because of the defense. Again, it always comes back to the defense. The offense is fun to watch and it gets you there, but the defense, how many times are we going to hear defense wins championships? I've been hearing it since I've been a little kid, but I grew up in Pittsburgh. Defense did win championships back then. I don't know if it does it now, but I don't know about the side yet. I really don't. I think a teaser option here is Arizona up. You take the points, you grab as much as you can. Right now with a 6-point teaser, Arizona gets +10. I don't think this is a blowout, but I think the game, I think they trade scores a couple times. I think Stafford throws a pick that costs them a short field or a touchdown. We picked the Dolphins defense to score first at 22-1 back on a few weeks ago on Game Within the Game on a Monday night.
Yep.
I think a defense is going to score in this game. I think there's going to be a special teams touchdown.
Look at
in this
you
game.
propping it like it's
So
hot
just
here.
keep that in mind. But so this has so many things working for you with Kingsbury and Stafford. How are you feeling about this game?
Well, I want to run from Cliff. I mean, they've lost 4 of 5. It's a big game. I've
But
said
they
this
play better
before.
on the road.
Yeah, they do. They do. But the 4 out of 5 loss, they lost to Dallas. They beat Dallas on the road. That was good. I was on Cliff. I feel like I got my money out of Cliff. I got to get away. I got to run.
You got what you came for.
Thank you.
I don't need no more.
No,
but we're going to be on Game Within the Game. We record the show on Monday. We're going to talk about this game. I think we'll have to have people listen to that because I know you're going to have props.
We'll have props on that.
There.
Yeah, we'll have props. But look for if the Stafford line is over a half a interception, which it should be, and it's not, it'll be juiced. But I might have to look at that. I want to be on the Rams here. I don't know that I can pull the trigger on it, but I want to be on the Rams.
Me too.
All right.
Books will need it too. You want to be on the book side?
I want to be on that side.
The books will need the Rams.
All right. I'm going to do 2 things quickly. This is rapid fire. You only have 3 minutes to get this in. So here we go. You've kind of hinted at this a little bit. Give me a teaser of the week I can play. Either same game if you want it to be, or we can give me just the traditional 2-team teaser, 6-point teaser. What would you play?
Okay. Well,
here's money. You've got to play a teaser. I know this is more me than you, but you have to play one. Where do you go?
I mean, you give me all them points with Pittsburgh. I think you take Pittsburgh up. I think that one has to be, but I know you don't want to do that. That's too much.
I usually like to go favorite down, but this is different. I get the dogs. I mean, if you're going to give me 18.5 with the Steelers, okay, now you got my interest. Okay.
But I mean, Tampa down. All right. I think that's going to end up being safe. Philly's going to give you everything they can, but in the end, Tampa moves on. We got to keep the Adele and the Tampa Bay, New England thing alive, at least it'll probably be dead because New England will lose, but we'll see.
So Tampa down, I can get under a field goal if I take it now.
Yep, I know. Right. That's good. Buffalo, really, it's such a shame you don't want to really cross over 0 because it's just wasting points. It's something called a Walm teaser that it's actually proven that's the better way to go. Total, I would go maybe Pittsburgh total up and go under, Arizona total and go down and go over. And if you leave that as the last leg, that gives you options. I think Las Vegas and Cincinnati down and go over to start it off. So I know you like to bet overs, you like points and stuff like that, and a lot of people do. And sometimes those are the right plays. So I think those are a couple options. Anything tickle your fancy there? You're going like, maybe not. I don't know.
Well, you scared me on Cincinnati when it's coming down, but that would have been one I would have liked. Okay, give me the favorite at home down potentially. I mean, you're right now. You're kind of wasting a point by taking it through 0 there. I don't think I can go Arizona up. I hear what you're saying. That doesn't seem like it's going to be an 11-point or more win for LA. So that I might have to look at that. That might be one, or that might be the one where I save that for a lone same game teaser on Monday standalone. See how the weekend turns out.
Right. Arizona down and over. With that, I think
other way, Arizona up. No, Arizona up to 9.5.
Yeah, but then
down and go over. Yeah. Bring it down and go over. Yeah. Okay.
I'm
saying, all right. Last thing. Go ahead, newbie.
Half and Raiders, get them to double digits. If you can get them to 10.5, I think that's the way to go. I think both those games are going to be within 2 scores there. So I
say it again, newbie. What'd you say? What was the first part of it?
Up to about 10.5 if you can get it, and then let's go with the Eagles up to 14.5. If the Buccaneers win, I don't think, and there's also some talk of there being some weather, some wind, some rain down there in Tampa. So I think that's the way that I would attack it. That's a teaser I personally placed, and Dave knows I love me some teasers. It's really the only
he does.
I do too. Sure. I'm with you, but I'm out of my comfort zone here. I got to be all over these dogs.
Well, that's what the trend you gave at the top said. So
I know. I didn't listen to myself. I want to go back to I said it, wasn't listening. All right, here we go. Last thing, and we'll get you out of here.
Yes.
Let's do one quick college basketball thing. I want you to watch this. Okay. You know how I focus on the Big 12. So I'm going to try and give you a Big 12 thing to watch here.
I like it.
If you're into the sell high theory of betting,
Yeah.
keep an eye on Texas Tech. What an incredible start for the Red Raiders. First year head coach Mark Adams. He's been on staff with Chris Beard. He was kind of their defensive guru. Beard leaves for Texas. You wonder how Adams is going to do? Well, wonder no more. What an incredible week the Red Raiders have had. They fought through COVID issues, went with 7 guys at Iowa State, barely lost to the Cyclones. But here just this week, they've beaten Kansas at home, and they knocked off #1 Baylor on Tuesday night in Waco. Baylor had not lost since March 12th of last year in the Big 12 tournament. Tech goes in without its leading scorer. Terrence Shannon's been out for a few games for them, and they're finding ways to win. They guard like crazy, incredible effort. Now, their next game, it's not an ideal letdown spot because they're getting Oklahoma State that's a little bit wobbly. But you look at how hard Texas Tech plays, and this will be their 4th game in 8 days coming up on Thursday against Oklahoma State. Shorthanded with the COVID, high intensity, 2 monster wins. You beat Kansas and Baylor in the same week. I don't know who's done that. Back-to-back games. I don't know who has done that. Classic letdown spot. But here's Oklahoma State. They had only played 1 road game until Tuesday night. They come to Morgantown. They just, quite frankly, guys, didn't look very good. Couldn't shoot it, which is their MO. They're not a good shooting team. They weren't getting up and down the court. They didn't guard like they normally do. They lost fairly easily for West Virginia to get the win on Tuesday night. Now they're back on the road. So back-to-back road games for the Cowboys. Do you get a little bounce back for them? The challenge for them is going to be scoring against that really good Texas Tech team. But keep an eye on Texas Tech. There has to be some regression coming for that group after a monster week. So watch what the number is. If it's double digits, if you get a 10 or 11, is it time to maybe come back on the Cowboys and think they bounce back a little?
I don't think
Something
it's
to
going
watch.
to be that high. I haven't watched 1 second of either one of these 2 teams play, but I saw the total. Total's probably going to be in the 120s, might be low 130s in this game. It sounds like, just thinking ahead.
Yeah, I like it under. Now you know, Dave, from working the book, the Ken Palm projection right now is 10.
Is it really?
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. So what if that comes out double digits, that's something to watch. And that total, if that total hits 130, you can interest me in the under there, I think, because that's 2 good defensive teams.
Well,
so watch that coming up Thursday.
I know, and that's what we do. We talk these things through. We've had a little bit of time to do it, so we'll get to that in a second. But that's college basketball talk for the boys listening to the show and cutting it up. That's college basketball. We're going to do that as the season continues, that we get closer to March Madness. But that's going to do it for us here on 8 in the Box, a Cash Considerations production. For Dan Alexander, the producer at Newbie Talks, for Brad Howe, the quarterback of the show, my quarterback with this cowboy hat on, BHowe at Brad Howe 07. And for myself, Dave Sharapan, the Sportsbook Consigliere at Sports BK Consig. This has been 8 in the Box. Enjoy Wild Card Weekend while you got it. We got 13 football games left, and then we're on to basketball season. Thanks for joining us. We'll talk to you guys next week.
Hey!